Welcome to the season finale of The Listful Soul, A Devotion to Mary. So we're at episode 10. It's been a very interesting journey, I must say, for myself, and I hope you share that thought as well. In being a part of this journey along with me. So this will be the last episode for this particular season. And I'm certainly looking forward to putting together content for my next season. So, on today's episode, I want to talk about something that's very close to many of us, myself in particular. And I think ever since I've started with this podcast, I must say that my relationship with Mama Mary has definitely grown so much than what I had with her before I began this podcast. And so, what I'd like to talk about today is the powerful weapon that we all have. And I think some of us fail to even see that you actually have been given a powerful weapon, but you're not using it. And that is the Rosary. So the Rosary is one of the most cherished prayers in our Catholic Church. It's something that, like I said, is a very powerful weapon that we have with us. So the word rosary comes from the Latin word rosarium, and it means a garland of roses. And I'm sure you know by now that the rose is one of the flowers that are used to symbolize Mama Mary. And the rosary is one of the tools that you can use to have a devotion toward Mama Mary. And what this rosary does for those listening out there and who aren't too sure about this, who maybe this is something new and that's okay, is that the rosary consists of a number of specific prayers. Now, the origins of the rosary aren't very clear. It's been commonly said that Saint Dominic was the one who instituted the rosary, that he received it from Mama Mary. Now, centuries before Saint Dominic, you had the medieval monks, and they had this practice of reciting all of the 150 Psalms on a day-to-day basis. And so it was at that time that, some of the lay brothers in that order weren't able to read. Yeah, and so they couldn't read the Psalms. So among them, what they decided to do was to start reciting the Our Father 150 times. Now, reciting, 150 Our Fathers can be quite confusing in terms of, you're losing track of what count you're at. So what they did was they used beads to keep a track of the prayers that they were reciting. And so this practice, started spreading amongst the laity as well. And so these rosaries were later used, I believe, around the 12th century to start counting the Hail Marys. Now, while I was doing my research, I came across an interesting article where the writer mentioned, the statement saying that, there are some people who think that the rosary must be so boring because you're repeating the prayers over and over again. And it's a set of 12 prayers that you say for every decade. So you're repeating that 5 times. And I'm sure there, might be people, out there who do think that way. Maybe some. But I strongly feel that what they really fail to understand is that it's not just a task that you need to tick off, that you've done, but there is meaning behind you saying each and every prayer in each and every decade. Because whilst you recite those prayers, even if it may seem repetitive, there is meaning behind that. So the Rosary begins with you reciting the Creed, and then you have the Our Father, you have 3 Hail Marys, and then you have the Doxology, which is your Glory Be. And then you conclude with the Salve Regina. And so the Rosary involves the recitation of 5 decades. Yeah, each decade consists of your Our Father, 10 Hail Marys, and your Glory Be. So what happens is during this time when you're reciting all of these prayers, you would meditate on the mysteries of what that decade represents. And what that decade represents is the life of Jesus and the faithful witness of Mama Mary. So if you look at every decade that is present in your rosary, it is very contemplative of the Gospels. And that's why it's called a mystery. Every decade is associated with a mystery, which is a Gospel episode that you are meditating on. So the word mystery is used in the theological sense because of the divine revelation of it all. All right, so there are 15 mysteries that are divided into 3 groups. So you have your joyful mystery, you have your sorrowful mystery, and you have your glorious mystery. So in the joyful mystery, you have the Annunciation, Mary's visitation to Elizabeth, the birth of Jesus, the presentation of Jesus in the temple, and the finding of Jesus in the temple. So that's your 5 decades within the joyful mystery. Then you have the sorrowful mystery, which are the agony in the garden, the scourging at the pillar, the crowning with thorns, the way of the cross, and the crucifixion. And finally, the glorious mystery, which comprises of the resurrection, the ascension into heaven, the descent of the Holy Spirit, the assumption of Mary, and Mary's coronation in heaven. So as a person reciting the Rosary and going through each mystery, what you need to do is really contemplate on that particular mystery that you are going through. I think in one of my episodes I had mentioned about this, where if you were to consider the mystery of the crucifixion, right? What you need to do when you meditate is really think about that incident that happened. And you'll only be able to recollect it if you know what happened. So, I think that's an instance that many of us know about. So you think about the crucifixion, you think about what Jesus may have felt. You think about what Mama Mary would have felt, standing at the foot of the cross of her son, watching her one and only son be nailed to a cross. And that meditation that you do will allow you to think of your life, think about what it is that you maybe need to change, what it is that maybe you need to do, for the betterment of not only your life, but as well as the lives of those around you. And that's the power of the Rosary. What this also does is, as you contemplate on that mystery, on that instance of what you are at the mystery that you're at, it brings you to a deeper and a closer relationship with Jesus. And that is what Mama Mary strives for us, to bring us closer to her Son. And so it is through this particular devotion, through the Rosary, is where we can draw ourselves even closer to Jesus. Because as we contemplate on his life through each and every mystery, it will draw us closer to being one with him, in trying to relate to the pain or the agony that he may have gone through, and realize that Jesus was also human. He came down to earth as a human, and he lived a human life as well. And so that's where we can build that connection with him. That's where Mary, enables us to build that connection and really understand it from that point of view. And so I encourage each and every one of you, if you haven't started praying the Rosary, go ahead and start. If you're someone who maybe did it many, many years ago and for whatever reason you stopped, don't have the fear that I don't remember how to pray the Rosary. Mama Mary will guide you. She will guide you and she will show you how to pray that Rosary again. But go ahead and start doing it. Do it as a family, do it individually. Just draw that relationship with Mama Mary. What I like to do usually is every decade before I begin, I offer it up for, an intention or two. And then I say that, that particular decade. So there is no one particular way that you need to recite, how you need to recite that Rosary. It's just a means for you to start, really honoring Mary through that devotion. Putting all of your trust in your faith, knowing that she will take whatever petitions you place before her while you recite this Rosary and take it up to her Son. And so that is the power of the Rosary. So I really want to thank each and every one of you for all of the support, the guidance, the feedback that each of you have given me through the past couple of months, since I journeyed through this podcast. And I really hope that this podcast was something that has inspired you, or even better, has brought you closer to Mama Mary. I really want to take, a moment to really thank the guest speakers that really took time out to meet with me. So Byron D'Souza, Richard John, Maria, thank you all so much for sharing your lives, and I'm sure that hearing your story would have definitely changed somebody's life. So really thank you so much for being a part of the Listful Soul, a devotion to Mary. So I'm sure you must be wondering what my next season is going to be all about. Well, to be honest, I'm still praying about what it is that the Lord wants me to talk about. And I do have a couple of ideas. And if there is something that maybe you want me to really talk about, to share with you guys, send me an email, shoot me a message, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to at least consider it. But I'm really looking forward to coming up with another aspect that I'm sure is going to be insightful. I know this has been very insightful. It's really increased my knowledge about my faith, increased my devotion toward Mama Mary and has really made me see her in a different way as I did before I started this. And so that's why I truly believe that if a devotion to Mama Mary can really change your life in terms of how you look at things, how you perceive things, how you manage things, then you guys can do it too. It just takes, strong will and determination and the strength from God to really get through this and look to Mary for that support. So thank you once again, and God bless.